Hey, everybody. Welcome into Your Girls Need to Chat. I am Daylan Dove. I'm your singular girl today. I am going to play tour guide. And I'm hoping this will be, a series of fun things where Chelsea and I can take you to some of our favorite places, give you the ins and outs, and really give you maybe a little guide of things to do, to skip, all of the goodness that you want before you head to a destination. So today I am tour guide Daylan. I am going to take you to the magical world of Disneyland. Yes, I have mentioned in a past episode, we just returned from a trip to Disneyland and I went full on Disney adult. Yes, I did. I'm not afraid to say it because let me just say, while Disneyland is magical, beautiful, amazing, so fun, yes, all of the things, it is expensive. It can be hot. It can be crowded. It can be the ultimate tantrum and crying and, maybe not overall best experience if you are not prepared. Now, I'm not saying that all the things I'm going to say today are going to take away from maybe any tantrums or things, but it's going to help you. I may be able to save you a little bit of money, a little bit of headache, and I'm hoping just enjoy your trip a little bit more. Yes, all of those things, check, check, check. We're going to do those today. We went the second week of March. It was so beautiful. The weather, perfection. We flew out of the Provo airport, which can I just say, the Provo airport for traveling with children, so seamless. You park right outside in this lot. You walk like seriously 100 yards to the door, which is amazing. You got all your stuff. Security lines are so short. They are so patient. It feels like the airport with a tenth of the stress. Are you going to get Delta? Are you going to get the screens? Are you going to get all the good stuff that, Salt Lake maybe offers? No. But if you're taking a quick short flight, California, Arizona, anywhere in this like west that's like, an hour to 2 hour flights, I think that is a really great parent hack. The prices are pretty good if you can kind of maneuver them and find them at good prices. So that's my first hack is is just a smaller airport like Provo was really great for our family to fly through. So we flew out on a Sunday. We made it to our hotel. We had kind of a chill day on Monday. We went to downtown Disney where we kind of just got the kids excited, which was great. We went and walked through all the shops. We told them they would able to pick one thing from Disneyland. They got one souvenir and we kind of let them go through the things to see, okay, I like this, I like that. And the end of our trip, we let them pick the one thing that they loved the most out of all the things. When you go through and you see everything, what's the one thing that stuck out to them? That's probably what they're going to be able to take away. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a lightsaber. Saber, not a lightsaber, not the candy, the saber. So anyway, that was fun. Then we sat down in a really pretty seating area and we ate the first of our favorite meals when we were there at Din Tai Fung. They have a couple locations. If you've been to the one in Vegas, they have a couple obviously in California. If you have not had the soup dumplings from Din Tai Fung, I am so sorry that you have not lived yet. They are the most delicious, just melt in your mouth perfection that I have ever experienced. So we got the soup dumplings. They have amazing green beans. They have pot stickers. They have really yummy like noodle dishes. We mainly got the soup dumplings, which we love. And I had Ledger try them. And he has been so brave with trying food. He's 8. He loved them. I should have bought 3 orders, but he ate probably 6 dumplings. The other thing you have to get if you go to Din Tai Fung in downtown Disney, or really anywhere at Din Tai Fung, they have chocolate dumplings. It's like a thicker hot chocolate inside, and you bite into them, and it kind of just explodes chocolatey molten goodness. And they are heaven on earth. So we got an order of those, each had 2 of those, just lived our best Din Tai Fung Disneyland life. And then, hi, if you don't know me, I'm about to tell you that I am an ice cream addict, connoisseur, lover of all things ice cream, there is a Salt and Straw location, which is an ice cream shop in downtown Disney. And if you haven't been there, again, please go there. They have the most delectable flavors. I'm going to look up some flavors. You have a Lucky Charms ice cream. Sounds amazing. A Snap and Crackle marshmallow treats. A carrot cake flavor. There is oh, come on. Honey lavender flavor. Salted malted chocolate chip cookie dough. This is what I was looking for. This is what I got. This is what I will be dreaming about for the foreseeable future. This cookie dough ice cream was the best cookie dough ice cream I've had in my entire life. You get it in the waffle cone. You sit there and you live your dreams on a bench in downtown Disney. It's so creamy. It's like the most creamy ice cream. It's the perfect consistency. It's not melting immediately in your hand. So good. Anyway, Salt and Straw, definitely one of those things that you have to do. You have to go try that while you're there. Downtown Disney was really fun just to kind of get the kids hyped up. You don't really want to go to downtown Disney when you're doing your park days just because you are focused on the park and you're kind of exhausted at the end of the day, at the middle of the day. So I would say do downtown Disney on an off day. California Adventure on Tuesday. Then we kind of gave ourselves a rest day. We are open the park rope drop people. I only do one park per day. I don't do a hopper, and I only do 2 days of Disney. So I do one park on each day. That seems to be enough for us. I don't feel like it's worth the money to go multiple days because it is so close. So we did ECA, California Adventure, on Tuesday. Our rest day was actually one that I was like, should we not? And my husband felt really strongly about it. We did Legoland on our rest day. Here's why Legoland is so great on your rest day. Legoland doesn't open until 10 a.m. and it closes at 5 p.m. So my kids were up until 10 p.m. the night before. We got them home. We put them to bed. They slept in until about 8:30 California time. We got up, we left by like 9-ish, 9:15. It's about an hour drive to Legoland. Made it to Legoland in like the first little bit of opening. Hit everything at Legoland. Had the best time at Legoland. Get a deal through Getaway Today if you can to bundle everything. They have a good deal on Legoland most of the time. But it was the perfect age for my 4-year-old and my 8-year-old. I would say the ages of Legoland would be perfect from 3 to 10 is kind of what you're looking at age range wise. They have like mid-sized, you're not going the Incredicoaster, right? But it's not Puff the Magic Dragon. It's kind of an in-between where these kids can go and experience roller coasters without the scariness of the loop-de-loops and the big, huge, giant hills. It's so fun. They have little driving carts where you can get a driver's license. They have Lego characters. They have little smaller rides for, littler kids. Our favorite ride there was the super fun spaceship ride where you go in and you're able to design your own space cart on these screens. And then it's like a mini space mountain. So stinking fun. My boys wanted to ride it over and over again. Legoland, total win for us. Total win. It was an hour drive. We got in and out on the way home. We drove along the coast, saw the ocean. Stunning, fun, easy. By the time we got home, it was about 7 o'clock. We got everybody in the tub. We got to bed early. This is my next tip. Go to bed early and make sure your kids are getting enough sleep. That's why I think this rest day is so important. We got a rest day and we were up early. This is our Disneyland. So Tuesday, California Adventure, Wednesday, Legoland, Thursday, Disneyland. Okay. We were ready. We got them up nice and early. Everybody's outfits were picked out. Breakfast was ready. Everything was packed, ready to go the night before to make our morning seamless. I know this sounds crazy. This is worth it. So you get up, you get going. We were at ready to go to the park by 7:15-ish. So then we went to Disneyland, had the best best day. I've got some very specific strategies that I want to go through. And so I think I'm going to dive into this next part of the episode. We hit everything we wanted to hit in the park because of the tips that I'm about to share with you. Whatever I say, take it or leave it. Let me just start by saying that I was not growing up a Disneyland goer. My husband and I went a couple times to the Mickey Not So Scary Halloween party before we had kids, and that was so fun. And I think we really liked it then. And I was giddy, absolutely giddy to take our kids. And so now I feel like I'm a Disney adult because I truly love seeing Disney through their eyes. It can feel so overwhelming. Let's simplify the process. First off, when is the best time to go to Disneyland? Let me just tell you that the golden age for me to take your children to Disneyland is around 4 years old. And let me tell you why. They are mostly tall enough for almost every ride. My 4-year-old went this year. The only ride he couldn't ride was Indiana Jones and the credit coaster. He couldn't ride that one either, but he rode Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Tower of Terror ride, just dropped out of the sky. Such a champ. He loved web slingers. He loved Toy Story. He did Thunder Mountain. He did everything that he could do in his height range. He rode Rise of the Resistance. He did it all. So they're tall enough for rides. They understand what's happening. They can understand logic. You can reason with them. You can kind of prepare them as well. They no longer need naps. They can handle the longer days. I would still absolutely, even if you just have a 4-year-old, bring a stroller for long park days. It's great for them to take a rest as well as storage for your cooler and snacks and sweatshirts and everything like that, because you do need some sort of storage. They have lockers and stuff there, but really a stroller is where it's at, as well as when you're walking home. Those poor kids' legs, they've been doing walking all day. So bring the stroller. Bring the stroller for sure. When's the best time of year to go to Disneyland? This is a big deal for me. Go online and use the crowd calendars and pick out days to go in the year. Obviously, I know you're not able to pick out, due to work schedules and school schedules and things like that. If you are a little bit flexible, please go when the crowd calendars say low crowds or moderate crowds, even average crowds, okay? If it says above average or packed, do not go to the parks because you are wasting your money. Plain and simple, you're wasting your money. The best value is average or below average crowds. Let me tell you why. Even if you have the lightning lanes sell out. We got to Disney California Adventure and I booked a lightning lane as soon as we entered the park for Guardians of the Galaxy. And Guardians of the Galaxy was sold out of lightning lanes by lunchtime. So even if you have a lightning lane pass, which you've purchased, on super crowded days, they can sell out and you can miss your opportunity. You're not guaranteed a spot in those lightning lanes because you have it. They sell out. So as far as like standing in lines all day, doing things like that, unless you absolutely can't move around that time, pick your time to go to the park very carefully if you want to get the best value for your money. As far as trip prep goes, I think this is where you start with a good trip, is just having everything planned out. Clothing. I love a cute little Disney outfit. And let me just tell you, Gap, H&M, and Zara, all easy yeses. Anything they have on their sites is cute for Disney. I really haven't seen anything on the Gap, H&M, or Zara website that I'm like, ew, no. They do such a good job of doing kind of that classic Disney. It's very like 90s core, super cute and classy. I had a shirt from Gap. My boys both wore H&M, little sweatsuits, shorts with sweatshirts, Zara. So good. So if you're looking for cute Disney clothes, definitely visit one of those 3 for easy yeses. My other tip is buy your ears not at the park. Don't buy ears at the park. You're going to spend, I think they were $39.99 for a plain pair of ears. I bought mine from a place called Presley Couture. I got them on sale for under $10 each set of ears. So that's the price difference, right? Pick your kid's favorite character, go online, see Etsy has a bunch of good options, go get their stuff there. Um, the other thing I did was my older son has a phone watch with like a GPS on it, but I also put a Apple AirTag on my 4-year-old. It gave me so much peace of mind knowing that if he did happen to wander off, I knew exactly where he would be. We went through the whole like find a cast member, make sure you stay in one spot type of deal, but an Apple AirTag on your kids and even your stroller is an easy yes. My next hack as far as packing, this is so great. If you haven't done this before, you can use this on almost any trip. I buy just a cheap shoe organizer from Walmart. Stick with me. I hang it up on my door and then I get each outfit of each of my kids and I fold them up and roll them so that they fit, each outfit fits into an individual shoe organizing spot. And then once all the spots are filled, it helps me keep track of how many outfits we have, socks, underwear, diapers, wipes, those things. I literally can roll it up and stick it in half of our checked bag. And then I unroll it when we get there, hang it on the door. Boom, there's all of your kids' clothes for the whole trip. We've done this for Disneyland. We've done this for Hawaii. We've done this for any of like our kind of long haul trips. I've even done it to St. George. But it's a great way to keep organized as you travel. Okay, next is the hotel and parking kind of strategy as far as this goes. If you're staying more than a mile away, I'd say anywhere close to a mile or further, here is my best hack. I want you to walk to the nearest Disney parking lot. Ours was literally right around the corner. It was probably a quarter of a mile. We walked into the Toy Story parking lot. Now, you walk up to the front. A lot of people pay to park here. If you are walking there from a hotel, you do not have to pay people. This is free. This is a great hack. You walk up, you get in line with all the other people, you go through a pre-security check. So you're going through security here at the parking lot. You go through the security, you wait in a line, you get on a bus that drives you the mile-ish, probably a little bit over a mile, to the park. Once you get to the park, they drop you off in an area where you bypass those long, early morning security lines and you walk right onto the concourse where you choose either Disney California Adventure or Disneyland. Let me just tell you, this saved us so much time when we were trying to make it early for rope drop. When we got to the main gates for Disney, the security lines were long, so many people, and we just got to walk right past them. Plus, we saved our legs for Disney. I think a lot of people Uber to the park, a lot of people just walk the mile, but when you're walking all day and you're walking 20,000 steps a day, that mile makes a big difference. So we rode it to the park and we rode it home from the park. Again, if you just walk into the parking lot, not if you drive. If you drive, you have to pay. If you walk into the parking lot from your hotel, it's free. And that was a major, major hack for us. It worked out really well. My kids maneuvered it really easy. So that was good. If you're staying closer to the park, if that's worth it for you, we saved a little bit of money, actually kind of a lot of money staying further away. But that was great. And further away, right? Like it was still just about a mile, but it saved us quite a bit of money. Okay, this is my next. This is going to seem kind of crazy. Let's have a judgment-free space. I'm going to give you a way to have a ride strategy when you go into the parks. Now, this can go a bunch of different ways, so it's important. Chat is our best friend here. ChatGPT, babe, you're our number one. We need you. I want you to go into ChatGPT and say, I need a Disneyland or California Adventure ride strategy for my family. You're going to give them their top 10 priority lines and then some rides you don't care about, right? Like, my kid's this height. Tell me all the rides we can do with this. Or my kid is afraid of the dark. Maybe keep the scary rides out. You're going to give chat as many details as you can with your top rides, and it's going to tell you exactly the way to move through the park. So the other general ride strategy is you want to do rope drop. What is rope drop? You probably hear people say that all the time. You want to be to the park before the park opens. I think a general rule is 30 minutes before the park, which is kind of crazy to say because I think the park opens at 8 a.m. So you're going to try and be to the park at 7:30. The reason for that is you're going to wait in a line to get into the park. Then you're going to get into the park and go exactly where you want to be as far as which land you're going to go to. And that takes time. So by the time you get up to where everybody's waiting, you maybe are going to have 10 to 15 minutes before the park opens. And you're going to be shocked at how many people are waiting to run into the lines. Listen, the reason you want to do rope drop is because the first 2 hours of your day at Disneyland are going to be the least crowded of the entire day. You're going to have the coolest weather. You're going to have the lowest crowds. It is worth it to get up and get to the park. I promise. This is called rope drop. On your ChatGPT search, you're going to say, I am planning to rope drop. So please prioritize the rides that have the longest waits later in the day. Here's what else I'm going to tell you. In the morning, you want to ride as many rides as possible. What I'm about to say is going to be controversial. I do not recommend rope dropping any of the long waiting rides. This includes Radiator Springs Racers, I know, and Rise of the Resistance. Both of those are long wait lines. They're probably about 60 minutes, even if you rope drop them. It's really rare to get on in 30 to 60 minutes, and you will spend a lot of your rope drop time in those lines. Now, if you are like, I absolutely refuse to wait 90 minutes later in the day, I refuse to buy the lightning lanes that are separate for these rides, and you feel strongly that these are your top priority lines, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's probably not the best rope drop strategy. So that's why I think ChatGPT it made an incredible outline for us. It prioritized the popular rides for rope drop and then the longest lines later in the day. So I think we got in 6 to 8 rides in the first 2 hours, prioritizing that. And then at that point, I had a couple lightning lanes stacked up, which we were able to use. And I think the lightning lane stacking is a major hack that I learned for this last time we went to the park, which I'm going to explain to you now. Stick with me. Okay. So now we have our rope drop strategy. And I will say, I think having lightning lane is worth it. If you're going on a week where it says it's a quote unquote ghost town on the crowd calendars, it may be worth it for you to wait and purchase lightning lane. If you get there and, it's a little bit more crowded than I expected it to be. Personally, I think that lightning lane is worth it always. Lightning lane is a paid extra step that you take and purchase it so that you have access to go through quicker lines and you're able to get on rides faster. They used to call them fast passes, and now they're called a lightning lane. Here's what I think. As you walk into the park, as soon as you enter the park, you are able to book your first lightning lane. I think you book the most popular ride at that time in the lightning lane. When we went to California Adventure, I walked in the park and immediately booked Guardians of the Galaxy. Then I set an alarm on my phone for 2 hours. And then in the next 2 hours, I was able to book my next lightning lane. Here's the clincher. If I book Guardians of the Galaxy when I first walk into the park, and let's say the redemption time is 9:07, before that time comes available, I'm able to go into my app, I click the 3 dots, and I hit the word modify. So then I go in and I'm going to modify my reservation. I'm going to pull down on the screen so it refreshes. Then I saw that my lightning lane could be modified to later in the day, and I think it went to noon at that point. So I actually clicked the noon time. Now I have a lightning lane for noon. And if I got there at 7:30, at 9:30, I was able to go in my app and book another lightning lane. So then I booked our next lightning lane, which I did Toy Story Mania. I booked that for 10, right? Then I went and modified that again a little later and pushed it for later in the day. So I stacked 2 lightning lanes in the morning. At 11:30, we had 2 lightning lanes stacked. At that point, I actually picked a ride that was kind of close in time, and we kind of picked those ones so that we could do a couple lines right in a row, because as the day goes on, your lightning lanes are going to get further and further from when you want to book them. That's why stacking up a couple is nice for in the evening when they either sell out or lightning lanes are going really late. You have them stacked up. You can modify and go into these lightning lanes as many times as you want to. Sometimes they'll even give you earlier wait times. That happened to us on Tiana's Bayou. I had the lightning lane booked for 3 o'clock, but it was super hot in the middle of the day. So I went in, I hit modify, and all of a sudden it pulled up this 12:45 lightning lane, and I hurried and modified it so that we actually got to ride that one sooner than I had booked because of the modified time. So don't underutilize that. Make sure you're kind of always looking to see what lightning lanes. And then as you go throughout the day, just make sure you're setting that 2-hour timer so that you're continually booking lightning lanes. That, or as soon as you beep into a lightning lane that your next reserved lightning lane, you should be able to book another one, which is why once I had 2 stacked, I used that third time, the most recent time that I was doing, to do a couple right in a row so that we were able to ride a few in a row that I knew would get busier or maybe further spread apart during the rest of the day. I hope that helps. I know it's kind of confusing. There's tons of videos online if you want to look into that more. Just look up lightning lane stacking on YouTube. I got a lot of really good information from that one. But again, I do think that booking your lightning lane, stacking them, buying lightning lane, totally worth it. Totally worth it. I recommend 2 things. I recommend waiting to do shows and things that are kind of inside, like Disney Junior Dance Party, those types of things. I recommend doing that in the middle of the day, or I'm going to be honest, I recommend going home for a couple hours. By home, I mean to your hotel. We, on our Disney day, kind of got really hot weather on our Disney day. So at 1 o'clock, we left the park. I put all my kids down for a nap. They slept for 2 hours, and we made it back to the park by like 5:30, 5-ish, and then continued on our day. The great thing about that is everybody got a nice, cool nap. We felt refreshed, and then we stayed until park closing at 10 or 11. So we kind of got that little fresh start. When a lot of people are leaving after the parades, you stay and lines are short again. So that's kind of nice. If you don't believe in going home, totally get that. Get all your money. I am here for it. But if you're not willing to go home, if you parked in a parking lot, if that's not an option, definitely a good idea to save the indoor shows, any of like the easy, like the train rides. Pirates of the Caribbean has air conditioning, Little Mermaid has air conditioning. Prioritize those types of things in the middle of the day when it's hot. Another thing that we utilized in the park this time was the rider switch. If you've never heard of this, it's amazing. A rider switch is when you have a child that isn't either tall enough to go on a ride, doesn't want to go on the ride type of deal. We have our 9-month-old little girl. So basically, I would walk up with both the boys and I would say, hey, my husband's going to stay back with our baby. Can we do a rider switch? They get on your app and they scan 2 of your tickets so that when the parent comes out who have stood in line, waited the line, they come out, the other parent can take someone with them and use it as a fast pass and go straight up to the front of the line so that the other parent, the other rider, is able to ride the ride. Here's another little tidbit, hack, whatever you want to call it. We would scan our lightning lanes. We'd scan the 3 of us into our lightning lanes. There's 4 total, be with my husband, 2 parents, and my 2 kids. And we would scan 3 of the 4 into the lightning lane. Then the worker would scan 2 extra rider switch passes. so that now we have 3. We have 2 rider switch and the other lightning lane, so that when we came out of the line, we didn't have to wait a long time, right? This is still the rider switch. My boys got to go twice on the big rides. So they got to go twice on anything they wanted to, really, that my baby couldn't ride on. So they did Radiator Springs twice. They did Rise of the Resistance twice. They did Smuggler's Run twice. They did Space Mountain twice. They did, any of the big things that my baby couldn't go on that they could, they were able to ride twice because we did Lightning Lane and Rider Switch at the same time, which was awesome. So awesome. Especially we did buy the Radiator Springs Racers. The line was 90 minutes. It was 90 minutes. And so we did end up buying that. I recommend, if you can, ride that later in the night. The neon of Cars Land is incredible. I know. You're like, you're spending all this money. I know. Disneyland is so expensive. It's so weird because you kind of just have to zone out and be like, you know what? All of this money is next week's me's problem. We're rich for these 2 days. But you kind of have to prioritize. Is my 4-year-old going to stand in line for 90 minutes for probably what is going to be his favorite ride here? No, to me, it was worth the money. So we just bought it. We just did it. We also bought it for Rise of the Resistance. And I will say we probably could have waited later in the day. The line did go down to about 30, 40 minutes, and I would have waited in that line. But we just did it in the morning. Another one with Rise of the Resistance is you can ride that one after parades, during parades, and the line goes way down for that one. Again, you're hitting it like 30 minutes, which is insane for Rise of the Resistance. 2 of the best rides, in my opinion, Rise of the Resistance and Cars Land ride, which is why they can charge extra for lightning lanes. We get it. They're here to make money, but the true artistry of Cars Land and Star Wars Land is undeniable. It's incredible. My boys were in awe, truly in awe of all of the fun stuff. We loved that. Okay, let's see. What am I missing here? Saves time. Another thing that we did, and I do at a lot of the hotels we stay at, Walmart delivery. Now, whether you drive to Walmart and pick up your groceries or whether you have them delivered, this is a game changer too. I brought a little cooler. I packed a little cooler with us that fits in the bottom of our stroller, but I Walmart delivered Uncrustables. I don't know what it is. Peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and honey. My kids will eat those every day, 3 times a day. Never get sick of them. I don't know if that's your kids. That saved us so much money in the park. I freeze them the night before. I throw them in the bag. They stay cool. They unthaw during the day. I did string cheese, Uncrustables, chips, fruit snacks, granola bars, the Barbell protein bars, and some cutie oranges. And that's what I put in our cooler. So then anytime they're like, hey, I want a snack, I want this. If it's not, a big deal, if we're not by somewhere, I just let them have those snacks. Saved us a bunch of money on the snacks at Disneyland. Now, did we get snacks? Of course we got snacks. I love snacks at Disneyland. If I could buy a ticket to Disneyland and simply just eat, I'd do it. I'd just eat my way through Disneyland. We'll get back to that in a second because I am definitely going to share my food recommendations. But the other thing that I Walmart ordered, so I usually buy the bubble wands from Walmart with extra batteries and extra bubbles. They're not going to know any difference, but I will say you're probably going to buy the bubble wand. So either buy it from Walmart or buy it when you first get there. Just give in. Don't wait until the last day to buy the bubble wand. It's great for rides and keeping them entertained in those long, long days. Other thing, bring your own water bottles. They have tons of fill stations everywhere. Bring water bottles for everybody, saves so much money, and you have to stay hydrated. I even brought a couple of the electrolyte packets to keep everybody hydrated throughout the day. Okay, let's get into the bread and butter, if you will. The Disneyland food favorites. I know you've been waiting for this. I have also been waiting for this. That's kind of why I put it at the end, because it feels like a grand finale, if you will. A new favorite we discovered this past trip was the pizza pocket. They have them in a cart over in California Adventure, over by Guardians of the Galaxy. And other place you can get them, sorry, really quick. In Disneyland, you get them at Daisy's Cafe in Toontown. It's basically garlic bread. Stay with me. It's not healthy. Garlic bread turnover. So it's got all of the goodness of garlic bread on the outside, and then they just encapsulate cheese and marinara and pepperoni inside of a buttery garlic bread knotted pizza pocket thingy. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's pretty good price-wise. I think it's under $10, which is crazy for Disneyland. But it was a hit with my 4-year-old, with my 8-year-old, with my 33-year-old husband, and you know it was with me. It's called the cheese and pepperoni. Talking is hard. The cheese and pepperoni flop over from Daisy's Cafe. Now we know. It was incredible, and it's weird, but it was first on my list. Like, I cannot stop thinking about that. I want to eat that again. It was so good. Obviously, the churros, we know the churros are good. We know that getting a popcorn with a Diet Coke at Disneyland just hits different. We know it does. I get it. So those things are a no-brainer. The other thing, if you haven't done the beignets at Tiana's Kitchen over in New Orleans, they are life-changing. I think I've said that about all this food. I'm so sorry. Apparently, my life has been changed a ton while I'm at Disneyland. The beignets, I think you get 6, and it's the same as if you bought like 2 churros. So my family we'd get an order of those, and we all would get a beignet. The boys would get, 2, and then we were paying less than if 2 of us got a churro. So we got a bunch of orders. They're warm. They're covered in powdered sugar. You're covered in powdered sugar, but they are like the best. They're better than a donut. I said it. They're better than a donut. If you haven't had the beignets, number 1 on my list if you haven't had them. Of course, I'm going to tell you the raspberry macarons. Not a macaroon. A macaroon is the coconut flaky thing in the shape of the Matterhorn. That's a macaroon. A macaron is the cookie that's kind of got the little feet, and it's shaped in Mickey's head, and then it has the raspberries around it with the filling inside. 10 out of 10. So good. I'd eat that twice a day if I could. So the raspberry macarons, churro toffee. I think these are better than the actual churros. They travel so well, so you can like bring them home with you. Churro toffee, so good. You can get that in downtown Disney as well as on Main Street. I actually don't know if they sell it in California Adventure. So downtown Disney and Disneyland. The bacon mac and cheese in a croissant cone, if you will, from the Cozy Cone Cafe. So good. So yummy. This one's kind of weird, this next one. The pineapple slice was the best pineapple of my life. I think it was like $3. So it was like, yeah, okay, $3 for a piece of pineapple. It was so good. 10 out of 10. So good. Random, but really, really good. Oh, you know what? I tried the mint julep. It was kind of a no for me. It just kind of tasted like watery lemonade. I didn't have enough mint. Maybe too much julep. I don't know what julep is, but the mint julep was a no for me. And let's see, what else did we have that was so good? We had the birria tacos in San Fran, Tokyo. Those were really good. They were a pretty good price. Check those out as well. My main thing with food I want you to remember is if you can mobile order it, do it. So on your app, if you click over at the top, it says like attractions, dining, guest services, as far as like your filters go. If you click dining, anything with a mobile order, go ahead and pre-order that food, and you can be standing in line and pick it for, your time frame is, after you're in the ride, or maybe you're going to pre-order your lunch because those lunch time slots fill up quick. So if the more you can pre-plan your day while you're already standing in line, why not? We pre-ordered our beignets for after we did Tiana's Splash Mountain. And we got off the ride. We literally walked over, said, I'm here, picked them up at the window, and there were probably 30 people standing in the standby line to order and then wait some more. So if you can, figure it out, pre-order, mobile order all of your food if you're able to. All right. We're getting to the end. Stay with me. We're almost there. The last thing I want to touch on is the characters and the show portion of your Disneyland trips. I'm going to be very honest, we actually don't prioritize characters. I don't know if that's because I'm a boy mom and princesses and those things, like maybe that's going to be a more of our part of our experience once I have my little girl big enough, but we don't prioritize characters at all. So if you do, you can go in the app and click that filter of characters and see maybe when they're going to be there, who you're looking for. Just make sure you're intentional about how you're prioritizing characters because that can suck up your whole day. It's great when your kids need a little downtime when they're feeling overstimulated, things like that. The shows I would recommend at California Adventure, because I think most of the shows as far as that go are going to be at California Adventure. Spider-Man Stunt Show, so cool. I think it runs like every half hour throughout most of the day, ends at like 4 o'clock. Disney Junior Dance Party. This was so fun. Again, you don't realize it, but this line can get long, especially on busy days. So maybe go 30 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot. 30 minutes before the show to get in line so that you can have a good spot to go in, to dance, to meet your kids' favorite characters. It's air conditioned. Yes, yes, it is. It's a great midday, rest time, but doesn't feel like you're resting because they love it. Another one with air conditioning and feels like a really good break from the day is Turtle Talk with Crush. This one was both of my kids, both ages, loved this one. You come into this air conditioning, lovely auditorium. Your kids are able to sit down in the front, and then it's got a big screen that looks like an aquarium with like just obviously all the ocean behind it. And then Crush comes in, and you have a moderator. You have a guy with a mic. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it is called a moderator. You have a guy with a mic up front, and he is talking back and forth to Crush. Crush is literally, I want to know how this is made so bad, because Crush is literally talking to the guy. He's like, pick this kid with a yellow shirt up front with glasses. And then he goes to the guy and he's like, hey, dude. And then he talks back and forth, and the kids can ask him questions and he can ask them questions. And it is so fun. My 8-year-old got picked. He said, how old are you, Crush? And Crush said, 150, still young. And then he gives some facts about turtles. And he says, how old are you, little dude? And he says, I'm 8. And he's like, Ledger dude. Cool. How was that Crush impression? You didn't come here for that, but you got it. Anyway, that one's really fun. It's a great opportunity to rest. So prioritize those. Parades are so fun. There was 2 options for the Paint the Night parade. There was an 8:30 one, and then there was, I think, a 10 o'clock one. The 10 o'clock one was way less crowded. So if you can make it to the later one, it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, wow. Did we do it? Did we get it all done? That was a lot of info. I get it. Disney can feel so overwhelming, but I promise with a little preparation, it can be a seamless, fun, just such a memorable experience. I think that's what we all go to Disneyland for, right? We're all going to Disneyland to like capture these little moments of childhood magic, seeing it through their eyes, experiencing rides, letting them meet their favorite characters they see on TV, eating the treats that we love, that are food memories. It is so worth it. Disney, take all my money. Take all my money. I will continue to go. I think we are going to follow that rule of like maybe every couple of years. I'm not like raring and ready to go back tomorrow for sure. I need a little bit of a break. But at the end of the day, you don't have to do everything. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. A trip to Disney can be as simple as you want it to be. But the goal is to enjoy the experience, be flexible. Your strategies aren't always going to work. You're going to have to pivot. You're going to have tantrums. But at the end of the day, pick a few priorities, plan ahead, and leave room for that magic. Thank you for being here. If you have any extra questions or anything that I didn't hit or anything that you love to eat there or anything like that, please put them in the comments. I'd love to read them. I'd love to respond. We love you. If you feel so inclined, we'd love to have a review from you. Next week, we're back to our regular content, and my cute Chelsea will be back. But until then, I am Daylan. We'll chat soon.